Welcome into the 22-23 Middle Tennessee basketball preview. Chip Walters with you. Glad to have you with us as we come to you from the MTSU College of Media and Entertainment here in Studio One, and glad to have the head coach of the Blue Raiders getting ready to start his 5th season as head coach, Coach Nick McDevitt. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
It is almost that time. I mean, you guys have been working all summer, getting new guys involved, and now you can see it now. You can smell it. It's just a few days away. Monday at 11 a.m., you guys will tip it off.
We will, and I know our guys are looking forward to it. We've been hard at work since really the first week of June. So I think they're really excited to play somebody other than themselves. We've had a couple of close scrimmages that we thought went really well. I like our team. I like our group. Hopefully we can just build off of last year and have another good season.
Yeah, it was a great year last season. You went undefeated at home. Middle was very fortunate. We, had both teams go undefeated in the regular season at home, and made for our fans, made for a great place to go and see great basketball. And also last year was back to normal a little bit because you guys went through 2 seasons that were kind of wonky a little bit, but you got back to normal, and boy, was that fun.
It really was fun, not only the on-court stuff, but being able to look up in the stands and see our fans back. Right. Having 2 years that were obviously very disrupted with COVID. I know our players were glad for it to be back to normal, but talking to the fans throughout the course of the year and even in the off-season, they were glad to get back in the Murphy Center as well. And as you mentioned, we're fortunate to be still riding a 17-game home winning streak dating back 2 seasons ago, and we'll get that thing started again next week with a home game against Brescia on Education Day, where we'll have a lot of elementary school students here in the morning, and should be a fun atmosphere.
They put new glass in Murphy Center, and it's fantastic as we celebrate 50 years in the building. It's going to be tested on Monday to see how it works against with high-pitched screaming with elementary school kids from every school in Rutherford County. Every elementary school in the county is going to have kids there, which is going to be really fun.
It's really fun. I know I'm sure the elementary school students enjoy it, but our players do as well.
Yeah.
It is nonstop excitement and screaming and yelling from the moment our players take the floor during warm-ups to that final buzzer sounds. But it should be fun to not only have a packed house, but have a lot of young students here on campus as well.
That springboard comes back to 3 words: Eastern Division champions. 3 words that you fight for and you play hard for, and that's what all the blood, sweat, and tears come into. And your guys captured that a year ago, and what a great day that was to be able to capture that championship against a great rival.
It really was, and anytime you can win a championship, it feels awfully good. To be able to do it on your home court in front of your fans, share that moment with them, have the students rush out onto the floor when the game was over. Those things meant a lot, but I also know that it meant a lot to the guys that have been here over the last couple of years and have really not just grown up here at Middle Tennessee, but have grown together. Players like DeAndre Dishman and Eli Lawrence, 2 guys we'll hear from a little bit later, but guys like Tyler Millen, who's been here during the thick of it as well. So just really glad and proud of those guys, happy for them that they were able to enjoy that experience and celebrate that moment and win that championship.
There's an old saying that says, tough times don't last, tough people do. And we found out about those tough people because, everybody enjoyed last season and the championship, but those guys who've been around this program for a while and put in the work, laid the groundwork for what was experienced a year ago and what we hope continues again this year, they had to be just beside themselves.
No doubt about it, and rightfully so. You think about a hometown hero, so to say, the mayor of Murfreesboro, Donovan Sims.
We have all kinds of mayors here.
Yeah, he has seen it all, and happy for him to be able to enjoy that moment as well. I still see the pictures of him hoisting that trophy when the game was over there on press row. So to have some physically tough guys, but for some mentally tough guys that continue to believe in themselves, believe in the teammates, Our coaching staff did a terrific job, and we just had the right locker room. You know, it's not just about accumulating talent. At least we don't believe so. That has to be met. There has to be a baseline of talent that has to be met, but it's about finding the right pieces that can fit together. And we just had a really good locker room. Myself and some of the other assistant coaches shared that with our players last year. And for me, having been involved in college basketball now for about 25 years, that's one of the closest knit group of guys that I've been around. They're fun to travel with. They're fun to be around. They're fun to coach. They play hard. And it was a special season, and we need to do it again.
I'm telling you, my goodness, they had to be close, because at the end of the year we spent about 2 solid weeks in hotels with each other and all of that, and everything was just smooth as glass. But that group that you talked about, for the most part, they're back intact with a few added pieces in there. Talk about the makeup of your roster this year and what excites you about it.
Well, as you mentioned, we've got a lot of guys back, and anytime you can bring that many players back from a championship caliber team, you've got to have some excitement about the following season. We've added some quality pieces to that team. A couple guys, Jared Jones, that was injured last year, is back. We got a couple of junior college guards signed, as well as another high school guard that can really help our depth in our team this year. But I also shared with our players that I thought this is one of the more challenging teams to have to coach, and that is because there are so many players back off of a team that won the previous season. And so you've got to understand this is going to be a different year, a different team, different expectations placed on them from externally, but also internally. Guys have grown into perhaps different roles. So although a lot of returning faces, a new team, a new season, a new schedule, and we're excited about the challenges that are ahead. But that's why we continue to work on the court, and hopefully we can have a great year.
You got great leadership, and it starts there with your team. We'll talk to DeAndre Dishman here in just a minute. He's going to be a 7th-year player in college basketball, and when we got on the plane in Daytona Beach after the CBI, it was like, boy, I don't know, have we seen Dish's last game? And he gave it all, left it all out there. Wouldn't have surprised me at all had he said, guys, it's been a great career. But no, he's coming back. He got a taste of what all of this was, and he wants to come back and help lead these guys.
Yeah, I think they all felt like there's still a little bit of unfinished business left. And Dish was playing terrific at the end of the season, looked healthy out there, particularly towards the end of the year. Those last 6 or 7 games, he was a monster out on that court. And so really proud of him. And speaking of tough guys, they don't come much tougher than that. Obviously, he's physically tough. You can see the body he's got during the games, but the mental toughness that he has shown over the last couple of years to really miss about 1,000 days of basketball after coming here from Eastern Kentucky, sitting out on a transfer, and then that first year having a really traumatic knee injury, to see him really work himself back and kind of reshape his game. That doesn't mean that he can't still get up above the rim and dunk the ball, but there was a day when he was a big-time high flyer as well.
And I'll tell you, when people see him here in just a few minutes, they're going to see that body is back again, because he's really put in the work and really proud of what he has done.
No question. And you talk about all that stuff, and he's already graduated from Middle Tennessee, and so couldn't be happier of what he's been able to accomplish both on and off the court.
All right, we're previewing the 22-23 basketball season with Coach Nick McDevitt and Blue Raider players. We'll take a break. Be back with more in a minute.
Leonard will stuff it. He had nowhere to go. Weston high off the glass. Layup is blocked. Buford is free off the wing and hit it.
Feeling like it did again. It's a win-win-win. So genuine, no so genuine. Pop, pop, pop like a firecracker. Crack that back like
Look
a
to the left,
chiropractor.
drive, left elbow, jump shot, good. stuff it. And he had nowhere to go. Weston high off the glass. The layup is blocked. Buford a three off the wing and hit it.
Feeling like a kid again. It's a win-win-win again. So genuine, no so genuine. Pop, pop, pop like a firecracker. Crack that back like
Look
a
to the left,
chiropractor.
drive, left elbow jump shot. Good.
Welcome back into the 22-23 season preview for Blue Raider men's basketball. Chip Walters here. Really happy to have one of the great guys on this ball club, Eli Lawrence. Pride of Atlanta GA, you represent a whole crew out of the 404, isn't that right?
Yeah, man.
Talk a little bit about how you guys as a group from Atlanta and that area, you as close as you guys are as an entire team, you guys have a little subset in there that's even a little tighter.
It's just a connection, you know. Atlanta, you know, although it's a big city, it's still a small city. So, you know, at the same time, we just all connect with each other. We know a lot of each other. We know a lot of each other, you know,
Right.
from previous years, seeing each other play AAU, knowing coaches around the way, other players. So it's just a family all in one, really, Georgia basketball in a way.
Talk about what last year meant to you, because you've been in this program for a little while and fought through the hard times. And not that last year was not hard at all, because it was. And that's what made it even more enjoyable, because you got to enjoy the fruits of all the good things of the regular season and then into the postseason. How much did that mean to you deep down?
Man, last season it felt real good to just, you know, win, be on the positive side of a lot of things. But from the past years, it's just they were hard, as you know. You know, Dish went down one summer, so that took a lot from us. The following year was the COVID year, and that didn't really go our way. But we still had to play through it all. But last year, just a lot of people coming back, you know. Changing the coaching staff a little bit. You know, it's just been a lot of changes, and fighting through all that and still winning, you know, it just shows a lot about your character and, you know what I'm saying, what we go through.
You know, I think back to last year's team, and where did the light click on for me that this team had what it took? And you guys made a trip, stopped at Stephen F. Austin against a really good team that kind of took us to the woodshed a little bit. Came out of that, went down to Cancun, played some games there against really good teams, came out with a win. And at that moment, you know, I'm thinking these guys now understand what it's like to win and understand how satisfying that can be. Did you feel something similar to that?
I already knew from day one in the summer that we
Right.
could have won, you know. But that tournament there, Stephen F. Austin was our first loss, and, you know, we realized fast what we did wrong, you know, and we corrected it and went down to that tournament, played with an edge on our shoulder, and we just handled business. But, you know, sticking with it, you know, still having adversity throughout that season, just like I said before, winning, being on the positive side of things, man, I couldn't ask for nothing better.
I tell you, you're a swing guy, but I think they have you listed as a guard. For a guy like, talk a little bit about Jalen Jordan, because fans don't see him on the floor because he was hurt a year ago, got hurt again, but he's a guy that means everything to this team.
Yeah, man. Jay's like, you know, that's my brother personally, but for this team, he's a voice. You know, he's a motivator, you know, and we haven't seen him in 2 years, and, you know, just the back-to-back injuries, you know, it hurts, you know what I'm saying? We all, like, in a way, you know, we were hurting when we all found out what happened. And just let MT people know that, you know, he's a hard worker, always has been, you know, and he leads us in so many other ways other than just being a good basketball player. So missing his absence on the court is going to be all right, but he's still going to be there, and y'all need to, well, I'm not going to say y'all, but we're going to be there for him.
Now,
you know.
there's guys who need that leadership. It's some of the young guys, the new faces on this team, and the guys who are growing within the program. What about new faces? Who are fans going to see on Monday? And tell us about those guys.
I mean, we got 3 newcomers, Trayvon, Justin, and Trey Green. They're all great pieces for us. A little bit bigger in taller and stronger than, I would say, Don and Josh. They don't have the experience, but, they're going to bring good things to the table for
I
us.
tell you, when this team gets on the floor and you start playing defense, and that was, I think, last year a huge difference in where you guys made a lot of hay is what you did defensively, clamping people down, getting turnovers, getting easy baskets off of that. This team can do that again because the length that you have when you're on the floor causes people all kinds of problems.
Yeah, that's what we pride ourselves on mostly is defense. We realize that we can score the ball, so priding ourselves on the defensive end, make sure we talking, doing all the little things. That's what's going to really get us over the edge and getting us what we really want to be.
You guys get to face a lot of really good teams in the non-conference schedule this year, and you'll actually have a conference game in November against Rice. You looking forward to the test that the non-conference schedule has in front of you?
Man, I'm looking forward to everybody we play.
Yeah. It's another chance.
Yes, it's another chance. I don't look past nobody. So.
Okay, I
That's how we
can't
gonna
let
play.
you go without asking about the new hairdo. It's a little different. You're looking clean this year.
Yeah, I'm a little rough right now. I don't got a cut, man, but I just want to do something new. Feel good.
Well, the one thing I want you to do like you did last year, get some more of that.
Got to.
All right, another ring. All right, Eli Lawrence is our guest tonight here on the Blue Raider Basketball Preview. The old guy in the gym, DeAndre Dishman. He'll join me right after this. Stick with us.
He Leonard will stuff it. And he had nowhere to go. Weston high off the glass. Layup is blocked. Buford a three off the wing and hit it.
Feeling like a kid again. It's a win-win-win again. So genuine, no so genuine. Pop, pop, pop like a firecracker. Crack that back like
Look
a
to the left,
chiropractor.
drive, left elbow, jump shot, good.
This is how I recognize me.
He Leonard will stuff it. And he had nowhere to go. Weston high off the glass. Layup is blocked. Buford a three off the wing and hit it.
Feeling like a kid again. It's a win-win-win again. So genuine, no so genuine. Pop, pop, pop like a firecracker. Crack that back like
Look
a
to the left,
chiropractor.
drive, left elbow, jump shot, good.
This is how I recognize me.
Welcome back into the Blue Raider Basketball Preview. The Raiders open up play on Monday at 11 a.m. It's going to be Education Day. If you go into GoBlueRaiders.com, if you're a season ticket holder, there's information there on where you need to sit and where you need to park for Monday's season opener against Brescia University. Glad to have DeAndre Dishman. And if I'm correct, and I'm sure I am because Thomas gave me the right information, you are one of only 5 seventh-year players in college basketball across the country this year. So you're one of the oldest players in college basketball. Tell people, somebody said, well, how does he play 7 years? So tell folks the path you've taken to where we are today.
So I started off at Eastern. I played there for 2 years. And then I transferred here, and I got here in the summer. And I set out for the redshirt year that wasn't in effect yet. And then the following season, I got hurt in the summer. So I sat out another year, and then so they made 2 years in a row. And the next year was the COVID year, which didn't count against my eligibility. So I ended up playing that one, which we didn't play a full season. Then I played one and finally playing my 4th year.
Coach talked a little bit about how you ended up, it was almost 1,000 days between when you left Eastern and when you finally played a game here. What was it inside of you during that time that says, you could have easily at any time said, I'm going to get my degree, I'm going to go do what I'm going to do, but you said, no, I'm going to come, I'm going to stick it out. What was it that kept you fired up for that?
I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had doubts that I wouldn't be the same when I came back or I wouldn't be able to do it, but I always told myself that I wouldn't give up on something that I love to do, so I made sure I put everything into it and fought back.
What gave you the decision to come back for a 7th year? Because when we were standing in the airport waiting on our bags when the season was over, I'm saying, I'm not sure I'll ever see him on the court again, but here you are. We're going to see you on Monday.
It was a long thought process. You know, we ended the season great. I thought we had a great season. It was my best season that I've had in my 6 years of playing at the time. So knowing what we had coming back and the way I ended the season, I wanted to carry that momentum from these guys and for myself over into the next season.
What did it do for this ball club to go to a postseason tournament and have the type of run you had to play all those games in Daytona, knowing that most of these guys are going to come back? What does that do from an experience standpoint, from a confidence level, and all of that? Because you kind of have that ability to look at these guys as another coach.
Oh, I feel like it's very important going into your next season. If you want to compete and advance into the next round, that learning experience is very important. You got to know what it takes, what you got to do, the preparation, how important the details are. So, you know, going into those final games and losing, although it's a loss, it's not what you want to do. I think we can take it and carry it on to this season and know what it takes. You got to pay attention to everything. Everything has to be right.
You know, Eli talked a little bit about the non-conference schedule. Now, the conference schedule is going to be different this year because you're going to play not 18 games, you're going to play 20. And you're going to play everybody at home, and you're going to play everybody on the road. Being a true round robin, a double round robin, I should say, it will certainly make for a true champion. But what about that many conference games? Because there's a lot of pressure in each and every one of those.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of games first off, and then knowing that if you beat someone at your place first, knowing that they're going to come at you even harder the next time. Especially when we already feel that we have a target on our back now, being the season that we had. I think we can only get better, and it's going to be very important that we do better on our road games compared to what we did last year. So I think this non-conference schedule will also be important for that, and the amount of road games we have is big for us.
Yeah, you'll have 10 conference road games as well as the trip to Canada and the other games that you have there. Does the age and experience of this team give you more confidence this will be a really good road team in the league?
Definitely. We lost a lot of games within the last 2 possessions. So some of those was our fault, and I think that if we grow from that, we'll win those games. Even just if we fix 3 or 4 of those games, the record increases tremendously.
Where you're picked in the league, you're in the top 4 in the league, along with UAB and North Texas and Western Kentucky. That's going to be some. That's, you know, you look at those other 3 opponents. That's 6 games right there against really good teams that are going to be some slugfest night in and night out.
Definitely, and seeing that the toughness of our non-conference schedule, I think is really important going over into that. So we'll play a lot of tough teams, and it should prepare us for what we have in conference. Seeing the rosters, knowing what other teams have coming back to, it's going to be real important.
You're going to play a conference game in the second week of the season, November 15th. How weird is that going to be?
Definitely weird. It's much different. You know, we got a couple new guys, so it'd be weird for them, even for their first year, because it's not something that'll be usual.
Yeah. Now, you as one of the elder statesmen on the team, do you feel that one of your roles is to help develop those guys?
Definitely want to help develop them, lead them, and prepare them so for things that would happen, help talk to them through to situations, and let them know, you know, things that can happen, the tips and all that type of stuff.
How much do you like your new hardware?
I love it.
Yeah, you want some more of that?
Definitely.
I think that's the correct answer. DeAndre, thanks so much for coming tonight. Can't wait to see you guys back on the floor on Monday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, DeAndre Dishman joining us here on the Blue Raider Basketball Preview. Final segment coming up. We'll go through the schedule with Coach Nick McDevitt right here. Stick with us.
Hey, Leonard will stuff it. He had nowhere to go. West will tie off the glass. Layup is blocked. Buford is free off the wing and hit it.
Feeling like a kid again. It's a win-win-win again. So genuine, no so genuine. Pop, pop, pop like a firecracker. Crack that back like
Look
a
to the left,
chiropractor.
drive, left elbow jump shot. Good! He Leonard will stuff it. And he had nowhere to go. West with high off the glass. The layup is blocked. Buford a three off the wing and hit it.
Feeling like a kid again. It's a win-win-win again. So genuine, no so genuine. Pop, pop, pop like a firecracker. Crack that back like
Look
a
to the
chiropractor.
left, drive, left elbow, jump shot, good!
Welcome back into the Blue Raider basketball preview. Chip Walters here, along with the head coach, Nick McDevitt. And, Coach, we talked about the makeup of your team a little bit, and I know you're getting pretty close to having a starting five out there. How deep out of the 13 scholarship players and 2 walk-ons do you want to go, and how much are they going to force your hand to go deeper on that bench? Which is great. It's tough for you, but boy, that's doing the right thing for them.
It is, and you ask an interesting question. We want to play as deep as we can. I guess it was our first year here. We were dressing 8 scholarship players. That second year after Dish got hurt, we were dressing 9 scholarship players to start the season. Between last year and this year, I think we'll be 10 or 11 deep as far as how many guys we play night in and night out. With the tempo that we play, how hard our players play, how much defensive pressure we try to put on the opposing teams, it lends itself to having to play more guys. So we'll definitely be playing deep in our bench, and our fans will get a chance to see a whole lot of guys play.
Well, we've seen 2 of the starters here tonight. Jalen Jordan's injury obviously leaves the point guard position up for grabs. Right now, who do you think will go out there on Monday?
Well, obviously Cam Weston's been playing really well. I thought he really grew as the season went on last year and has had a really good offseason. He's done a really nice job of taking care of the basketball in our scrimmage games. And just anytime you can put a 6'3", 200-pound body out there at the point guard position and
he can just do things.
He can. He just he really understands the game of basketball, and there are things that come easier for him than do for most. And he's just one of those guys. He's an incredible passer. Our guys like playing with him because he is really a pass-first guy.
Yep.
And when you've got that kind of length and athleticism around a point guard that can take care of the basketball and enjoys passing, it's fun to watch.
You had 2 scrimmages. What did you learn about this group?
Learned that we're playing well together. We were able to force turnovers. We assisted on a lot of our made baskets, which was really important. Anytime you can assist on 60 or 70% of your made baskets, which we did in those games, good things tend to happen. And what we really wanted to see is get Jared Jones back in the game. Hadn't played in a while. Let's see what we've got from these junior college guards. Let's get the freshmen out there and Trey Green. Let them get accustomed to playing against somebody else. It's a little bit different in practice when the guy you're going up against knows what you're about to run, knows the tendencies that you have as a player versus playing against an opponent that may or may not know all the ins and outs of what you're doing.
Well, and some of those other folks that they're going to be playing against are combined to be one of the toughest schedules in all of college basketball.
It really is. If you look at our opponent's net from last year, that is, it's one of the top 5 toughest non-conference schedules in the country. We just don't have a night off. When you look at both home games, away games, they're all going to be tough, but that is Conference USA schedule as well. There isn't an off night. Obviously, when you play Western, UAB, North Texas, FAU, those are the teams that have a lot coming back. They'll be good. But the other teams, those aren't slouches. Those will be difficult games as well. And I think as you look at our non-conference schedule, it should prepare us for those moments in those games.
It should. There are going to be some familiar faces out there. Belmont, Murray State, those are going to be there. So as we take a look at the non-conference schedule, you've got Brescia, UT Southern. You go to Missouri State. You won't be going to UT Southern, but you go to the Northern Classic and St. Bonaventure. And then, you got some tough ones there right before Christmas time, including folks need to look at on December 15th. That'll be the 50th anniversary game of Murphy Center. But that Northern Classic, you're getting some testers up there in Montreal.
We are. We're playing Hofstra, Stephen F. Austin, and Montana State in that order. All teams that were very, very good last year should have a good team this year. Early that you didn't see in the graphic there was the conference game that you mentioned.
At Rice,
on
or Rice
November
here.
15th, Rice here. So it will be a tough slate. We play at Winthrop. They were here last year. Got a lot of good players coming back on that team, a team that's predicted to finish second in the Big South preseason standing. So there really isn't an off night. We told our players, like, there's not a game you can't win, but there are also games that you can't just give the C effort and go out there and win that game.
Now, folks,
We've
I'm
got to
gonna
be
tell
ready
you-
every
Oh, yeah,
night.
exactly. Now, I'm going to tell you, folks, now, the weekend of New Year's, you better be ready to strap it on because the Blue Raiders will head over to Charlotte on the 29th, and there's going to be a New Year's Eve game on the afternoon of December 31st against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. So you can't start it off with much more fireworks than that.
You can't, and that'll be a quick turnaround. On Thursday night, we're at Charlotte, and then that night, as soon as the game's over, fly back here, get ready on Friday afternoon, December 30th, for the showdown with WKU on New Year's Eve. That should be a fun afternoon.
You're going to have a game with North Texas early in January. You've got UAB here early. So that month of January is loaded, and you've got the top 3 teams in the league, or at least in the preseason poll, all coming here in January, December or January.
December, January will be tough, but again, as we mentioned earlier, you'd almost say that about anybody on the schedule, but having WKU, North Texas, and UAB almost in consecutive weekends certainly makes for a tough out of the gates for us.
All right, well, let's talk about how they'll wrap it up as we take a look at the second half of the non-conference schedule. And there you'll see it starts there going to FIU, then you back home with the Texas teams, then back-to-back, February 9th and 11th. I mean, you better eat your Wheaties. You're going to UAB and Western in those 2 games.
Yeah, that'll be tough, but it's also an opportunity. Tough challenge, but also, again, a great opportunity if you're able to steal some on the road, but you go and steal 2 at places like that against teams like that. You've played quite well. And
Exactly, and then you're going to try to do a little thievery there on the final weekend, going all the way out to North Texas and then UTEP, and then you come home maybe, and then come right back for the tournament in Frisco.
Yeah, that makes for a lot of trips down to the Lone Star State. We're heading down during the regular season. We go down to play UTSA at their place on a Thursday to come back here to play North Texas.
Wow.
Then later, obviously, you're making that trip down to El Paso and then to play North Texas, come back home and turn around and go back to Texas for the conference tournament. We should be getting some frequent flyer miles out of those couple months.
Who did you make mad?
I don't know, but it's going to be it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and to finish strong will be important. To get out of the gates strong will be important, but should be a fun year.
How excited are you to see these guys in real games?
Oh, it's really to have this group back has been fun, but they're itching to play against somebody else. You heard
with fans in the stands.
With fans in the stands,
Yeah.
You heard Dishman saying earlier, it's been great getting back out there with these guys, and they really are. They're looking forward to having our crowd back in the Murphy Center and playing somebody that's not their teammates in practice.
And that crowd's looking to be back too. So year number 5, looking forward to it.
Thanks, Chip.
All right, for Coach Nick McDevitt and Eli Lawrence and DeAndre Dishman and all the students here who put this program together here at the College of Media and Entertainment, Chip Walter saying thanks for being with us. We'll see you at the Glass House.